I think we've shown the ability of our two bodies as legislators to join together for the good of the state, and it's at an incredibly important time as we deal with the crisis, whether it's the COVID or with the storm that they're dealing with in the Southwest and the storm that we're anticipating in the Southeast side. To know that we're going to work together for the good of the state. I know that there's resistance on some of the rules with COVID, but I think that we've still stood together while those questions are being asked, and we know that we'll have the answers one day, but until then we will stand together and get to the other side of this, just like we did Katrina. And I think the goal of most of my colleagues and myself, I think it's all of them, is that we want a better Louisiana at the end of the day. We want to do the best we can. I read a letter that I'd gotten from a mother at my district office. Her son, who happened to be disabled, was going to college in Southeastern, and they didn't have strong enough of a connection in their rural area of Washington Parish to download his college work, and they had been doing it at the Hammond Airport. They'd sit at the Hammond Airport and load his college work. Well, the airport's internet went out, and she asked if she could use the internet at my office. And she could use, we made it where you could use the internet at the office sitting in the parking lot. And that's the degree that it's felt on an individual level. So, when you have school kids who feel it all the time, but when you've got college students who are being deprived of what they've paid tuition for, it's a huge thing. But I think that made people see the reality of what it's done. When I first started talking about it at the Capitol, people would almost pat me in the back like I told them I was barefooted, like there was something they could not relate. It's kind of like you don't know what hunger is until you've been hungry. Well, they could not relate to the fact that it wasn't just me as an individual. It was widespread in many of the districts around the state. So I think that was a huge step that we made, even though there's so much, we're a long way from where we need to be. But I think it got the conversation started, and we're here today to talk about it because that conversation got started. So that's a big plus. We got so many needs, and instead of feeling that we're making forward strides, I think the COVID has kind of knocked us back a little bit, and from a rural area, I worry about how the kids are going to catch up on their education. I worry about the fact that opioid use is increased and more children are being brought into care because of the self-isolation and the frustration people are feeling. So bills that would affect some of that. I work on trafficking. We've got some obstacles in the way we're handling trafficking and taking care of the victims of trafficking. We're not in a good place. And I think that we owe it to the children in our state to make this a state that they want to stay in. And I think there's lots of touch points on that. I mean, the broadband is just a basic individual quality of life issue, but it's also an economic progress driver. And shame on us if we don't see the possibilities of that. But so is educational standards, so is early childhood, so is making the criminal climate something that people don't have to worry about when they go home at night. So those are all things that we just are going to have to work really hard